Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever event of the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, also known as ADIO in Israel. We are excited to have you with us today and to hear from key speakers in the Abu Dhabi and Israeli innovation ecosystems. The Abraham Accords have ushered in a new era, bringing to light many business opportunities for both ecosystems. Subsequently, as part of the Abu Dhabi Economic 2030 vision, ADIO has established new offices across the globe, the first here in Israel. One of ADIO's principal focuses for 2021 is fostering collaborative relationships with Israel, the world-renowned startup nation. ADIO Israel's mission is to provide opportunities for innovative investors and businesses of all sizes and to facilitate connections with relevant stakeholders across Abu Dhabi's innovation ecosystem, helping them grow and expand in the Emirates. It provides a comprehensive range of tailored services and customized incentives that help businesses achieve long-term sustainable success in the market and across the region. In today's webinar, we have a host of exemplary speakers who will answer some of the most pressing questions that businesses in the Israeli ecosystem have when considering expanding globally and specifically in the United Arab Emirates market. More than that, we will introduce you to the vast opportunities available here, as well as the support that Israeli companies can leverage. We will hear from ADIO's Director General, His Excellency Dr. Tariq Ben Hindi, and Executive Director Munira Hisham Al-Khattab, who will talk about the Abu Dhabi market and the role ADIO plays in supporting companies to penetrate it. We will also have a panel with Mira Al-Sawaidi, Head of Value Creation at Mubadala Investment Company, offering detailed insight into the investors' angle and the opportunities they see for Israeli companies in the Abu Dhabi market. Tali Zinger, CEO of Davset and Managing Director at Blue Laurel, will share her personal experience of doing business in Abu Dhabi. Lastly, we will have a one-on-one conversation with Eyal Waldman, former president and CEO of Mellanox, acquired by NVIDIA, who will share his insight about building a unicorn and scaling it to new markets. But before we start, I'm thrilled to invite His Excellency Mohammed Mahmoud Al-Khaja, the United Arab Emirates Ambassador to Israel. This is his first time speaking in Israel, and we are honored to have him with us here.
Thank you all for attending this event to celebrate the launch of the ADIO office in Israel. It is my pleasure to welcome you as our distinguished guests. It has been an incredibly busy 8 months since the Abraham Accords were announced. Both sides have undoubtedly shown a strong commitment in furthering this relationship. We have seen landmark meetings and discussions at the highest level, signaling the dedication of our leaders. The business ecosystem has followed suit with delegation visits and exploratory meetings to better our understanding of each other's markets. Across sectors, various cooperation agreements and MOUs have kick-started collaboration between entities from the UAE and Israel, both large and small. Indeed, the speed with which we've pursued this relationship is nothing short of astounding. It is testament to the strength and alignment of our ambitions. We've laid the groundwork. Now is the time to start to perceive tangible results. We want to start delivering on all the conversations that we've had, taking the relationship with Israel to a level where we harness the entire potential that both economies can develop together. The economic opportunity here cannot be understated. Sectors such as tech, healthcare, agriculture, financial services, among others, are few examples of the fields where we can learn from each other and become reference to the world. Israeli companies have long punched above their weight when it comes to innovation. In the UAE, you will find established infrastructure, greater market access to a whole region, a young and skilled talent pool, and indeed, unparalleled support with government entities such as ADIO. The two nations have shown that the level of innovation and ambition in both countries are unmatched in this part of the world. Imagine what we can achieve working together. The opening of ADIO's office reflects our commitment to support. ADIO can help Israeli companies navigate the landscape here in Abu Dhabi, making sure that your creativity and ambitions are matched with the right opportunities and partnerships. The ADIO Israel office now brings Abu Dhabi even closer to you. The team is ready to support your journey into the UAE. Beyond the business ecosystem, I am excited to welcome Israeli travelers to enjoy the entire Emirati experience. I am confident that the two nations will be an example to the entire world of how traveling can be reactivated. Etihad, the UAE's national airline, has launched commercial passenger flights to and from Tel Aviv. Just a 3-hour flight from Tel Aviv, you will find a place where modernity and tradition get mixed to obtain an outstanding experience. In closing, I want to say the UAE welcomes you. Whether you're a business looking for a new market or a tourist looking for a new destination, there is something here for everyone. We are in the process of making history. Come be part of it. Thank you.
This is an invitation to your future, where you can turn opportunity into innovation and innovation into long-term success. Where economic strength and stability provide business security. Where established infrastructure provides the foundation for success. Where open for business truly means open. And where happiness is matched only by ambition. This is Abu Dhabi, where every day is a reminder to create the next. This is an invitation to your future today.
It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Tariq Ben Hindi, Director General of ADIO, and Munira Hisham Al-Khattab, Executive Director Promotion Business Advisory, to the conversation. Welcome both. We appreciate having you with us today. I would like to begin by asking you, Dr. Tariq, to share your vision for ADIO, the business opportunities present, and ADIO's progressive role in growing Abu Dhabi's economy. Dr. Tariq, please.
Thank you very much for having me today. This is an incredibly proud moment for us as ADIO and as Abu Dhabi. I think I would like to start by thanking all of the distinguished guests, the attendees that are here today to experience this momentous occasion with us. This is our first international office. I believe that it is apt that we are opening this in Tel Aviv and that we are opening it in the 50th year since the founding of our nation. So there are so many milestones that have been accomplished just in this year and since the Abraham Accords have been announced. And for us, that's an incredibly positive, it's an incredibly fast way of demonstrating how loyal and how committed we are to this relationship and how we want to take this forward. I think if we look at what has been accomplished over the past 6 to 7 months since the Abraham Accords were announced, it's been nothing short of an incredible journey for everyone involved. From the speed with which we've been able to engage with one another, the new relationships that have been founded based on the Abraham Accords, and also with the existing relationships that have been strengthened. I think what the Accords allowed us to do is that it allowed us to take bilateral relations that we had around the world and create trilateral relations, and work closely with our Israeli compatriots in terms of how it is that we were going to develop the relationship. This office is a milestone, as I said already. I think it's going to allow us to be able to access the Israeli market, to showcase what it is that Abu Dhabi has to offer, but also provide that connectivity for Israeli companies, individuals, investors, entrepreneurs, and just people in general that want to understand what Abu Dhabi and the UAE are all about, and how it is that we can help facilitate that journey and experience for them. We are incredibly focused, as is Israel, on innovation, on technology, on knowledge transfer, and ultimately upskilling and creating a diverse economy in Abu Dhabi, and being able to showcase what it is that we've been able to create in Abu Dhabi to the world. We have an incredible partnership that we are continuing to strengthen with Israel. We believe the sectors that we are focused on today, that there are some very low-hanging fruit as it relates to what Israel has already accomplished and how we might be able to exchange that knowledge and the opportunities that that creates for both parties. One other thing that I would like to add is that COVID presented an incredible challenge for the world in terms of how it is that we were going to address every nation's need going forward, whether it be food supply, vaccinations, and safety. What we realized, and you can see this based on all of the stats, is that Israel and the UAE are leading the world in terms of vaccinations, in terms of prioritizing lives, but managing to make sure that livelihoods are also looked after. And this is an incredibly powerful tool going into the future with the way that we develop and continue to enhance our relationship. I would like to end by just saying that I am very thankful and grateful for all the support that we've received, the vision that our leadership has, that the Israeli leadership has, and our partners in the US had to bring this together and make sure that we are able to not just create new bridges, but that we make the bridges as wide as possible, that we all sit around the same table, and that we address common issues as well as common opportunities together. Our office in Israel will allow us to do that. It'll allow us to be close to all of the movers and shakers on an economic side in Israel so that we can be able to support them when they decide to call Abu Dhabi their home.
Thank you, Dr. Tariq. And Munira, could you please give us some insight into ADIO's international offices and the role in supporting the growth and vision of Israeli companies in the GCC region?
Shalom.
Shalom.
I'm Munira Al-Kitab, and I'm the Executive Director of the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of our Tel Aviv office. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a really busy period for us. ADIO has initiated discussions with multiple Israeli entities across the government and private sector. And that includes entrepreneurs, companies, potential investors. We've signed MOUs with Invest in Israel, the Israel Export Institute, the Manufacturers Association of Israel, and Israel Innovation Authority, among others. Having an office in Israel will open the door for long-lasting business relations, and that can only mean positive developments for our region. Building on many successes and synergies between Israel and Abu Dhabi to date, this office is going to reinforce our efforts to help Israeli investors unlock opportunities in Abu Dhabi. We are the central government entity responsible for attracting and facilitating private sector investment in Abu Dhabi, and we support companies across all the sectors to grow and establish in Abu Dhabi. So our Tel Aviv office is going to serve to extend ADIO's reach and impact within Israel, offering the full range of support that ADIO provides in Abu Dhabi, including our investor care services and incentives. So if you want to know more about what that means, reach out to our office in Tel Aviv. The office is going to focus on facilitating connections between Israeli companies and Abu Dhabi, and introducing Israeli investors to the advantages of expanding to the Emirate. We have a highly qualified and dedicated team on the ground, and they will tailor ADIO's offering to better meet the needs of the Israeli investors. So the Israeli innovators and businesses will find it easier than ever to access ADIO's support. Israel is at the forefront of technological progress in the region, and we see many opportunities where Abu Dhabi can collaborate with companies from Israel to develop solutions that are going to benefit the region and the continent. Our two markets have already begun exploring commercial opportunities to collaborate on technology and impactful solutions. We're also looking particularly closely at sectors with potential to create innovative solutions that are going to benefit the region, such as ag tech, biomedicine, and advanced manufacturing. So there have been numerous delegations and events to introduce our partners in Abu Dhabi and Israel to each other's ecosystems. And there's truly no lack of motivation to progress cooperation. Both sides have been working very, very hard. Abu Dhabi, like Israel, is heavily focused on technology. The government offers a range of support and incentives to help businesses from around the world, including those from Israel, to succeed in the Emirate. Some of the factors that make Abu Dhabi a great place to do business include our enabling regulatory environment, the stability and the security that you find here in the country, the access to talent, the digital innovation, the infrastructure and connectivity, and a knowledge-based economy. Israeli investors in Abu Dhabi will benefit from operating in a welcoming and supportive environment. One thing I want to leave you with is that Abu Dhabi is truly open for business, and our office in Tel Aviv is your gateway to all Abu Dhabi has to offer. The Emirate has an infrastructure that enables connectivity, and we encourage innovators, entrepreneurs, businesses of all sizes to come to Abu Dhabi and utilize the entire ecosystem with ADIO as your growth partner. Our team is always ready to support you, so please do get in touch, and thank you again for attending.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Munir. I hope to see you here soon in Israel. And thank you, Dr. Tariq. Again, we wish to see you here soon in Israel.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for attending, and it's a pleasure to be here and to be showcasing what it is that we have to offer. Thank you.
I'm delighted to invite our esteemed and resourceful panelists. Tali Zinger has truly walked the walk when it comes to successfully navigating business opportunities in Abu Dhabi. She is the managing director of Blue Laurel, an advisory firm guiding leading companies in strategic opportunities across the MENA region. She's also the CEO and co-founder of Dafsat, a leading Arab language platform for health and wellness in the Middle East. Tali is with us to discuss her personal experience from a dual perspective as an advisor and a founder. We're also pleased to have with us today Mira El-Suwaidi, head of value creation, Mubadala Investment Company based in Abu Dhabi, with global offices in the US and the UK. Mubadala is a ventures platform that partners early on with visionary founders to build vanguard technology companies, supporting them in scale, resources, and capital. So Tali, you've been working in the UAE and GCC markets for many years, building relationships across the ecosystem. What has been your experience in Abu Dhabi vis-a-vis other markets?
Yeah, it has been quite a few years. The last 7 months feels like a whirlwind that combines a lot of the experience of the last 20 years, I have to say. I think what is unique about the Abu Dhabi market is how cosmopolitan it is, the UAE in general, with over 200 nationalities. And so you really feel this importance of welcoming environment, an environment that's friendly both to business and to different cultures. Also, what I think is unique in Abu Dhabi is how structured the market is. It's also in comparison to Israel, where companies go and they try, and it's part of the entrepreneurial mentality to realize how unstructured and how much chaos there is, and to try to make sense and opportunity of the chaos. There's a lot less chaos in Abu Dhabi. And that's actually very helpful, because as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you can more easily identify who do you need as your partners and who can actually bring you into the market and help you navigate that landscape. And so that's something very appealing about the Abu Dhabi market compared to other emerging markets, for sure.
It sounds very appealing. Mira, over the last decade, Mubadala has increased its investments in tech and venture capital. When it comes to venture capital, what are Mubadala's key differentiators?
Well, Dana, as you know, Mubadala is a company that is 100% owned by the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, and we are Abu Dhabi based. However, in terms of venture capital, what we have done to differentiate ourselves is that we have instilled local teams in the different jurisdictions that we're investing in to show that we are committed to our different partnerships with our founders and our fund managers. We are active investors and LPs. We have board seats on our different companies. We have really deep conviction and the global network to be a trusted partner. So we really have a very strong relationship, like I said, with our founders and the management teams. we can help our businesses scale, especially if they're looking to scale in the Middle East market out of Abu Dhabi. And we are a long-term investor that is focused on doubling down on our winners.
Tali, back to you. What interesting opportunities do you see for Israeli companies in Abu Dhabi?
I think that if Israeli entrepreneurs and business people listen carefully to what people in Abu Dhabi are saying, like what Mira is just saying, there's a lot of information there. We look at the strategy of Abu Dhabi that has set forth key strategic areas. It's not a surprise that the appendix of the Abraham Accords maps really nicely onto Abu Dhabi's long-term strategies, key sectors that are really important. And the Abu Dhabi government and the UAE government have taken on long-term planning with long-term goals. So key sectors, whether it's cyber, whether it's food, whether it's health, infrastructure, fourth industrial revolution. So all of those are areas of opportunity. But I think the real opportunity is to plug into the infrastructure that is connected globally. So Mira mentions Mubadala's global network. Other Abu Dhabi entities as well are very much positioned from a geopolitical and an economic perspective to a scope of geographies that Israeli companies aren't used to operating in. So those companies can best reach beyond just, our narrow neighborhood, but really look more broadly at the, 5-hour flight from Abu Dhabi and capture another 5 billion people. Those are the companies that can really tap into the opportunity of Abu Dhabi.
So Mira, from your perspective, what kind of partnerships are you looking for, and how did your perspective change since the Abraham Accords?
So, Dana, for us, long-term partnerships are very important. This is how Mubadala operates and how we have always operated. We are proud to collaborate, with some of the world's leading companies, whether it's Silver Lake, SoftBank, Sequoia, Hill House, or Iconic, amongst many other names. Let me give you a little bit more insight on our partnership with Silver Lake. We are very long-term focused and driven, and we have had a lot of joint investments with Silver Lake in Endeavor, Waymo, Geo. And what we bring to the table that really helps us work on our partnerships is our ability to bring capital, our ability to bring expertise, and our ability to help companies grow with different business development opportunities.
So Tali, let's drill down. What kind of advice, what piece of advice would you give to Israeli entrepreneurs and to Israeli business companies that consider working with and within Abu Dhabi?
So the advice was, again, buried in Mira's words, right? It's long-term and partnerships. I think that Israelis think about timing in a very different scale than the UAE, than Emiratis in particular. The UAE is about to celebrate its 50th anniversary, its Jubilee year. They're already planning 50 years ahead. There's a clear 50-year strategic plan for the UAE and each of the Emirates. You ask Israelis, what's your long-term plan? It's like, well, in 2 years, I want to be, the leading in this market. So I think that really thinking long-term and really thinking about partnerships and partnerships in a real way, not showing it up at a conference and showing your presentation and flipping through it and thinking that that's now your long-lost brother, but really spending the time. The other thing is taking that, having patience with learning the local ecosystem, listening to what people are saying and understanding what their needs are before just jumping in, because this is a long-term opportunity.
That's interesting. I'd love to hear your take on that, Mira. What are some cultural considerations Israeli need to be aware of when approaching an investor in Abu Dhabi?
They should all go speak to Tali, because Tali is like the perfect ambassador to the UAE. She's really put it.
I love that answer. I love that answer.
I mean, for us in Abu Dhabi, we are a very cosmopolitan city, and the UAE is home to over 200 nationalities today. The one thing I would say for Israeli investors or companies looking to come and grow in Abu Dhabi and in the UAE is that you need to realize that we as investors have extensive experience and knowledge around what is and what isn't good, what is and what isn't a good prospect. So we're really focused on due diligence and drilling down on strategies. And we're fairly risk averse. So Israeli founders and startups, when you come to Abu Dhabi, one thing to keep in mind is have a compelling proposition that is ideally proven, scalable, and offers a prospect of strong financial returns. Of course, it always comes down to financial returns at the end of the day.
As Zamira said, Tali, you must be the expert. Can you share with us, has anything come as a surprise to you regarding building relationships and business opportunities in Abu Dhabi?
I think the most overwhelming surprise of the last few months is how open people are. I lived in Dubai in 2006 and again in 2010 and have been back and forth across the region for the last 10 odd years. And in the last 6 months, frankly, it didn't take 6 months. The conversations with Emirati counterparts, especially in Abu Dhabi, went overnight from 0 to 100 in terms of the openness and curiosity, interest both on the business side, but also on the cultural side, on exploring and getting to know one another. And I think that is beyond what anybody might have expected. I mean, look, even ADIO's announcement right away that they were going to come and open up an office sent a very clear signal that
the first office, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. The first international office being in Israel sent a very clear signal that this is actually truly an open relationship. Well, there's complexity in different emirates and everything, but to actually send such a clear signal, I think it's very unusual. And that was my biggest surprise. I thought this was going to be, okay, slowly, like everything in the region, but this specific shift on the openness, I think is refreshing. And I think it's telling for people's excitement about this new relationship.
Yeah, there's this energy.
Absolutely.
Mira, what does the typical investment process look like at Mubadala? What kind of companies are you investing in locally in the UAE and globally?
So, I mean, Dana, and Mubadala, because we are a global investment company, we do have a very rigorous investment approach when doing business. We leverage our network of partners and local teams to source different investments that fit our criteria. So we really have, it is quite a long and extensive process. Once we find a prospect, we conduct extensive due diligence to scrutinize whether or not, this would add value to Mubadala's portfolio, and in particular, deliver commercial returns, and does it have a strong partnership aspect? Does it fall in line with our values in Mubadala? And we have a very stringent code of ethics. So is this reflective of our code of ethics and our high expectations as well of our shareholder? Once the potential investment has ticked all these different right boxes, it then goes to our investment committee, which is responsible to the board for developing and monitoring Mubadala's investment strategy. So, I mean, it does sound like a very intense and rigorous process, but it has allowed us to deliver sustainable economic returns over many years. And our strategy continues to be based on partnering with world-class leading companies.
So, Tali, I'm sure many people who listen will want to understand how growing in Abu Dhabi will tangibly assist their business. Can you shed some light on how your business was developed and grown since working with the Abu Dhabi ecosystem?
Sure. So I've been primarily focused on business opportunities that are targeting the broader Middle East, including the UAE and beyond across the region, as well as emerging markets. So in that respect, Abu Dhabi is a very comfortable place to be, both in terms of access to capital, access to expertise, ability to recruit talent, and frankly, ease and familiarity with reaching other nearby emerging markets. So that's been very helpful. And what we find is that there are people on the ground who are really eager to support the growth of businesses from Abu Dhabi. And so you kind of feel like you have this built-in support team of people who want to see Abu Dhabi entities and UAE entities in general thrive, which is a real help in markets that are complicated to act in.
So finally, Mira, I wanted to ask you, what type of opportunities do you see for Israeli investors in the UAE?
Well, there are so many different opportunities that Israeli investors, founders, and funds can tap into in the UAE and in Abu Dhabi in specific. So we have a tech ecosystem enabler called Hub 71, which is basically a very strong and vibrant community for entrepreneurs and startups, and it attracts talent from across the region. Hub 71 is a platform for Abu Dhabi to allow it to launch into this tech transformation, and it brings together global networks, different investors, strategic experts, and so on. So I really do think that Hub 71 is an area that people can come and set up shop in. And of course, Abu Dhabi and Mubadala in general believes in the potential of local startups. And because of that, Mubadala has launched its first ever MENA-focused investment fund it's been about 18 months, with a total of $250 million committed to the region. And we started investing. The first investment we actually made was in a company called Bayzat, which is a Dubai-based startup focused on delivering exceptional employee experiences from small and medium enterprises using free cloud-based platforms. Another company that we have also invested in is called MidChains, which is an Abu Dhabi-based virtual asset trading platform their trading operations are going to launch this year from Abu Dhabi. So we really do have very strong potential to increase profiles of companies, especially through this international tech hub that we're building out. The UAE has demonstrated that we are able to graduate unicorns, with the examples of successes such as Kareem and Souk.com. Israeli investors should really consider, the multitude of opportunities that we can bring from Abu Dhabi to the world.
So Mira, considering your deep knowledge and experience in the Abu Dhabi market, what makes Israeli companies a suitable fit for it?
Well, Dana, for the Israeli companies that are looking for growth and development opportunities to the region from Abu Dhabi, they need to know that the Abu Dhabi government has been extremely committed in terms of time and resources into making Abu Dhabi an incredibly attractive environment for overseas businesses. So today we are ranked number 1 in the region and number 12 globally in terms of ease of doing business. There are more than 3 million people from all different nationalities and cultures that call Abu Dhabi home today. And we are very progressive and welcoming and tolerant to all different religions and nationalities. The business landscape in Abu Dhabi is thriving. Industries such as agtech, fintech, health tech, ICT, they're all growing rapidly in Abu Dhabi thanks to all the different business support initiatives like Ghadan 21 and all the different changes in the regulatory environment that are taking place. The UAE capital has also a very transparent regulatory environment and very good access to world-class talent and a strong focus on innovation.
So I want to end, Tali, by asking you the tip that you would give someone who wants to start a business tomorrow, wants to work with Abu Dhabi tomorrow.
I have 3. The first is be patient. Be patient, take your time, get to understand what's going on, but patience. Things take time, and respect the system. Don't just think that because you sent an email at 10 o'clock at night, by 10 a.m. you're going to get the approval and things are going to move forward. There are systems, they're structured. Respect the system that's on your counterpart side.
So that's number 1.
That's number 1. Number 2, do your homework. Do your homework.
Come prepared.
Come prepared because, a lot of times, we think well on the fly. We're really good at that. But understand who you're sitting with. Are they the right decision maker? Do we need to bring other people in? Who are you actually working with? Who do you want to work with? Understand the history. How did Abu Dhabi grow to have the strategy it currently has today? How did Dubai and Abu Dhabi grow in the way that they did? What is their strategy? Really do that work. Listen to people. The UAE leadership has been so visible and sharing their inputs. Listen to what they're saying and do your homework. Doesn't hurt to read. Do some background searching. And number 3, it has to make sense. There is a mentality of I'm going to show up, I'm going to shine a glittery technology, I'm going to use some very fancy words, and people are going to throw money at me. I mean, we just heard it from Mira. It's got to make sense. And an entrepreneur knows if what they're selling makes sense or not. And so it would behoove every Israeli entrepreneur or business person seeking an opportunity in Abu Dhabi to make sure to do the mirror test, right? Are you laughing at yourself when you say this? Do you believe it yourself? If it really makes sense and is a good business opportunity, you're likely to have a listening ear on the other side.
This sounds like a very good piece of advice. Thank you, Tali. Thank you, Mira. Thank you for your thoughtful answers and interesting insight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and congratulations to ADIO on their first international office opening.
And now I'm excited to invite Eyal Waldman, the co-founder, president, CEO, and board member of Mellanox Technologies since March 1999 and up to it was acquired by NVIDIA in April 2020 for $7 billion. Eyal, so great to have you with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the invitation.
So you built a unicorn and led Mellanox to incredible height. What was the moment you knew you were on to something big? And did you have a sense that you would take it public in less than 10 years?
It comes in stages. Actually, you never think you've made it. There's always the next stage. You pass the $10 million revenue mark, then there's the 50, 100. So there's always the next step you want to do and execute. So it's not like you feel, hey, we've done this, we can now celebrate and so on. So we've achieved this milestone, now we continue. So you do feel you're making progress and you are growing and you're playing with the bigger sharks and you get to play with the major leagues. Coming down from up from the startups. So you do see achievements, but it's never like, okay, we've made it, we've done this. There's always more challenges, more things to do. Taking it public, yes, when we started the company, this was my second company. The first company that I was a co-founder was Galileo Technology, which we started in 97, and we also took it public and was sold to Marvell for $2.7 billion. So it's not my first company that we've built. So my aim or our aim was just to build a very successful, very large Israeli company, and we were very lucky and successful.
We all admire your success. But what strategic partnerships were in place to help Mellanox get to that point?
Right. So first, just the facts. We had presence, Mellanox employees, in I think more than 27 countries, climbing towards the 30s. And we were manufacturing in 16 countries. So we were really manufacturing around the globe in 16 countries. Our first place where we had food is the United States. This was our largest market, and that's where we started to focus, and the business headquarters was located in the United States. Then we went into Asia, which was Japan and China. China became our second largest market with about 30% or close to 30% of our revenues, and then Europe grew nicely as well. So we were completely worldwide. We had people in Australia, in South Africa, in Africa itself, in all over Europe, Eastern Europe. Asia was a very big market for us and very big presence, so we were all over the place. We've also sold into the Gulf states through an embassy, or not an embassy, but representatives in Turkey. So we had our employees that were Turkish, and they were selling our stuff into the Gulf countries, including some of our employees that had international passports could go and travel and do the sales and support and so on. So we did have some presence also in the Gulf states, even before the Abraham Agreement, and we had pretty good business there as well.
And if you could, if you'd have to share with us lessons you learned in terms of penetrating new markets, what would they be?
So first, you need to find the need in the new markets. Who are the major customers that need the technology you can bring, and what's the pain points for them that you can solve and bring them better technology, better solutions, and how to make more money for them. Once you identify that, you need to find the partners to go with and penetrate those markets. Hire local people. I believe that always when you build the local branch, instead of bringing Israeli employees and open, that you need to find the right local people with the right cultural fit to both sides, to the local, for example, Japanese and the Israeli guys. And you need to start building a local office that will then become more and more independent and have more resources to support and sell into this territory. So we believe in localization, taking people within the country that we want to penetrate, and then have them join the company, be part of the company, build the Mellanox culture into the area we're penetrating, but then also using the local culture to benefit us in doing the right things in every territory, in every
global
culture.
And local. So as you mentioned, since day one, you were thinking global. As you know, now you're advising Israeli startups and companies. How are you helping these companies evaluate opportunities in international markets, and specifically in the GCC market and in Abu Dhabi?
First, I think, the Emirates and Abu Dhabi are very important partners and markets for us. I've seen a lot of progress being made there, whether it's in the tourist markets or medical, aviation, merchant, ports. So there's a lot of data that can be processed, can be utilized by artificial intelligence and many more algorithms in Abu Dhabi and the Emirates itself. So what we believe that we can do is first bring the technology that is being used around the world, the biggest companies, whether it's Facebook or Google and Amazon and Alibaba and Baidu and Tencent and ByteDance and Twitter, everybody's using the technology. We can bring the same technology into Abu Dhabi to build better cloud, better data center systems, more secure with cybersecurity and so on, and then have them build the infrastructure. Then on top of that, I think the technology can be developed or first supported within Abu Dhabi and then developed. We can build a design center within Abu Dhabi, and then the presence and the capability of doing your own technology development can then progress into building in Abu Dhabi startups, technology startups that have learned to do this from international companies. So this is the process we went through in Israel. I think we can do the same thing in Abu Dhabi and other places.
And as you mentioned, you already were operating with the Gulf states before the Abraham Accords, but now we have, luckily, the Abraham Accords. So what is your view on the opportunities that these accords, these agreements grant Israeli companies at various stages in their entrepreneurial journey?
I think it's much larger and much more important. It can be a very strategic base from Abu Dhabi into the whole Arab world. If you look at penetrating Arab states around Abu Dhabi or at all, I think Abu Dhabi can be the center point of the sales into the Arab world. I think you can also do design centers. I think the capability of using the resources, the local resources in Abu Dhabi is significant and strategic to startups. So we can bring companies, we can bring technologies, entrepreneurs to collaborate with the entities in Abu Dhabi and build together very successful, very large companies that operate from there into the Gulf and the Arab world and develop technology for the whole worldwide to be used.
It's known that the Israeli ecosystem is one that is known not to shy away from failure. Many founders have started companies that have failed or closed and then went on to build extremely successful companies after the fact. Can you speak to a time or failure or a mishap that brought you success and helped you understand the market better?
You know, at stages of Mellanox, there were multiple companies that have already buried the technology we've been working on or developing and said this is not going to work and basically shut down their operations. Big companies like Microsoft and Brocade at the time and IBM and Intel and others. We stayed very focused and we were very persistent on what we wanted to do. We knew that technology can make a difference, can help build larger data centers, can cope with larger data sets and so on. So if you are determined to be successful, if you know what you're doing, and you can change course within time. So it's not a must that if you said we're going this direction, you continue with that direction. You can change and directions and do other things. But if you're persistent and you have a very good team that will believe in you and believe in the strategy that you're leading, then you can be overcome some of the failures or some of the mishaps along the way. We've had multiple difficulties along the way. I think every startup experiences those stages. But if you understand, if you're very professional, you understand the technology, you have the right business team, and you're building the right products, you can be very successful.
You understand that failure is part of the success. Do you think founders can expect to receive the same support and culture in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I think from my visit in Abu Dhabi, I found a very encouraging environment. I think Abu Dhabi understands the importance and how strategic technology is for Abu Dhabi. And I've seen that they're very welcoming and they want to encourage more entrepreneurs and more companies to come and open centers in Abu Dhabi. We met there with some of the executives and some of the government staff, and they've invited us to open design centers there. They said, we'll give you some of the real estate for a very big discount. We'll provide financing for workforce. So we'll pay 40% of your workforce cost if you open design centers in Abu Dhabi, and that was very encouraging for us. And I think this infrastructure that Abu Dhabi can offer companies could be very significant and help you finance, going overseas into the Arab world and use that to then be successful there and worldwide.
So just a few weeks ago, it was announced that there's another Israeli startup that has reached a unicorn status. An announcement that almost feels commonplace nowadays. Today, there are more than 40 Israeli startups that have joined the unicorn club. And there seems to be a shift in the paradigm. Now it's not enough to be a unicorn. You want to be a decacorn, valued at over 10 billion. So what is your take on this phenomena as Israel transitions from a startup nation to a scale-up nation? And how do you think collaboration with Abu Dhabi can help that paradigm shift?
So I'm happy that I was part of the stages Israel went through. When we started Galileo in 1993, there were very few startups that even dreamt to be public in NASDAQ. And since then, there were tens, if not hundreds, of companies, Israeli companies, public, went IPO in NASDAQ. And then we grew up, and company valuations grew from hundreds of millions of dollars to billions of dollars. And now we're talking about billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars. And we're seeing this happen with companies like
It reminds me of the
Checkpoint.
Jewish expression saying that, the Israeli expression we have here, that with the food comes the appetite.
Right. But it's important that I think the stages we went through are very important. If you try to leapfrog and go from no startup infrastructure to a decacorn infrastructure, it's not, the chances of success are smaller than if you understand that you need to go through stages and build small startups, small companies, maybe initially design centers. And then that's what happened in Israel. Intel, National, and IBM started a design center in Israel. And those design centers, we've learned how to manage, how to do products, how to develop, how to do research, and so on. And they were successful as design centers for international companies. Out of them came people with the experience of being part of a technology company, deep technology company, and they started building startups. Initially, those startups were doing only the technology here and the business was outside. Slowly, we started doing the whole thing as an Israeli company. And then those Israeli companies started to be more and more successful and went worldwide, and then went public in NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. And we became, I think, it's sometimes the third after China or the second country that had public companies in New York Stock Exchanges. And now we're looking at decacorns, and I think it's a stage that we're now mature enough. The business infrastructure, the technology infrastructure we have here in Israel is mature enough to build the decacorns that will grow and sell billions of dollars and become tens of billions of dollars in market cap. And we're seeing this in Checkpoint, in Wix, and more companies that are going Fiverr and so on. So this is something that we can bring into Abu Dhabi. And this experience of starting with part of an international company, whether it's Israeli or US-based company, and then grow into companies, build startups, Abu Dhabi, Emirates-based startups that will learn from those international, I think is a very important stage, and then grow companies to become successful, profitable, larger, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in revenues, and then they'll go public worldwide, and it'll be a very success for the economy of Abu Dhabi.
So finally, we have the opportunity to enjoy and benefit from your experience. So what would be the best piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur who is at the start of his or her journey and wants to take their company global? And how can Abu Dhabi be a part of that journey?
So there's a few things that I think are very important in the basics. First, the integrity. Be very honest to yourself, to your partners, to your customers. I think integrity is the basis of success. Then be very open to learn new cultures, understand that, we're coming from a culture, an Israeli culture that sometimes think, we have advantages and so on, but learn to be humble and learn new cultures, new ways of doing business, because if you do the business in the US, it's different than doing the business in Japan, different than doing the same business in Abu Dhabi. Once you accept that and you learn, you can be successful in multiple markets around the world. Be very persistent, very consistent. So you need to work very hard. Success doesn't come easily. So you need to work very, very hard to be successful, build the right team worldwide, find the right people in Abu Dhabi or elsewhere that you can trust, that have the same culture as you, understand each other, can look yourself in the eye and them in the eye, and you know what you're talking about. And then just be very professional and work very hard, you'll be successful.
And the rest will follow. Eyal Wegman, thank you so much for your time and sharing with us your insight. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to hosting everybody from Abu Dhabi here in Tel Aviv and in Israel. And we hope to come over.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. These compelling discussions have been an eye-opener, and I hope that they have shed light on the dynamic opportunities Abu Dhabi presents and what this means for Israeli companies and a symbiotic future together. If you are interested in expanding to Abu Dhabi or learning more about specific opportunities here, please reach out to the ADIO Israel team. Again, thank you so much for your time. Stay safe and healthy. Hope to see you soon.